say.
We're live.
But now we're gonna do that too. Okay, what was it? You said you down for anything. You like being in the middle. What was the other thing?
Anyway,
Hold up. You like being in the middle. What was the third one? Uh, Dang, you
What
like
a wait!
we
What an
are
introduction!
live.
now you know what pain feels like. I
Y'all
gotta
funny.
write all that shit down, man. Damn.
Y'all funny. I am your brother Mordy. Welcome back to another POD podcast show. It's been a minute.
Oh my gosh, I love you guys.
We've been doing shows, but we haven't been live. We are live, and yeah, it's a good feeling to be back, man. What's up with y'all? How y'all doing? My
Good.
co-host DCR.
Better than most. I'm
Sister
not
J.
from France, but I eat French toast.
Everybody in good spirits. Yeah, it's been a minute since we actually did the live thing, but we are back. Let's see if people are gonna get in this chat. If you are in the chat, go ahead and make yourself known. But yeah, we got a very taboo topic today that we want to talk about. So hopefully we can shed some light. It's just our insight, you know. It's not that we have the facts on anything, but we're just dropping our 2 cents on a very taboo topic that a lot of people don't. They talk about it privately, but they don't talk about it openly without the censoring. And today's show will be about, why do people cheat? We're going to talk about that. And I think that's a discussion to be had. But I think when people have this discussion, they're not really in an environment where they can be brutally honest about certain things. But we're going to be brutally honest today about our personal views on it. And people can take it for what it's worth. But other than that, yeah, DCR, what's up, man?
What's up, brother? I'm fine. I'm ready to go. That's all I got to say.
Sister J, what's up? How things are going down
good.
there in Florida?
Good. Hot, but I don't think it's as hot as you guys.
Yeah, it's pretty. It's blazing, man. It's blazing.
That doesn't sound right for a Florida person. That don't even sound right.
Nah, but for somebody in Florida to say that it's hot and
it's not as
hotter
hot
somewhere else.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's hot. Because Florida is hot.
Florida. Them niggas burn trees. I'll be burning trees out that motherfucker.
Right.
Yeah, it's pretty hot.
Forest fires out on their ass.
And see, I can't imagine. I'm here in Atlanta, but I can't imagine being someplace where it's actually hotter than it is here. And there are places. I know Texas, they got triple digits. So
yeah, but they stay in hundreds. Yeah, my friend always saying that.
That's wild. Nah, I'm not a fan of. I like heat, but I'm not a fan of extreme. So I don't like extreme hot and I don't like extreme cold. So I like a balance.
I think that the Florida boot, the one that hangs off of the water. I think because we're like, it's hot. Whenever it's hot, it's not really like hot like how you guys are. Because we get some of that air.
Sea breeze, y'all. Y'all need a water. So
exactly.
It's thick hot here, like humid.
No, no.
It's thick hot and it's highly uncomfortable, but it's something weird. I'm not gonna say something weird. That's a whole nother discussion that we can have at a later time. But there's definitely something going on with our son that the mainstream is not really talking about.
Right.
But we're having some our son is doing some dancing right now. And that's why we're having these episodes. But that's a whole nother conversation because, that gets into some other stuff that's going on. So we're going to go ahead and roll the credits and get into our show. So we'll be back. And we are back. So let's jump right into it. Let's jump right into it. Um, I'm gonna ask the panel so we can just cut through the fluff. Why do you guys think people cheat? And we'll also get into that word cheat because that also needs to be discussed also. Because we have this
Mhm.
label that we throw around and we call it something, and it's actually something a little bit deeper than what we call it. So we'll get into that. But how do you guys think people cheat? Sister J, you can go first since you're the lady.
Oh, ladies first now.
Yeah, yeah.
I think for women, and I hope there's some women in the chat so we can talk about this. But I think if there's something missing, like we're not happy, or there's some sort of something that is missing, like mistreatment or those type of things, because I feel like for me, when a woman is really into her dude or her man, like she's not really looking anywhere else.
Okay.
When a female is really into her partner, she is not looking anywhere else. Like, but there's for me there has to be some sort of reason.
Okay. What about you, DCR? Why do you think people cheat?
People cheat first. They, we're gonna start off with this. Cheating is more like people be in relationships that they really like 99% in those relationships. Like, they just kind of going with the flow with this person, like probably a person that they met and they end up liking the person, and they kind of develop some chemistry, and eventually they in a relationship and shit. Without even saying they're in a relationship, you just in a relationship. So I believe one person, there's always one side that's really in love, and the other side, when it comes down to those kind of relationships, it's always one person that's really living in a real relationship, and the other person is just kind of not. I'm not gonna say settling, but they're just doing something because they can do it. You know what I mean? So what's available, and it is what it is. Now, because I know from my experience, when I'm in love with a woman, even I'm not a cheater anyway. I'm just not a cheater. So, but when I'm in love, I'm not a cheater. I mean, I'm definitely into the woman that I'm with. So, I mean, I am attracted to other women and everything. But put it this way, if I tell somebody that I'm with them, and if I tell them that I love them, that's a promise I made to myself for what I said. Is I have to have respect for myself when I'm laying down these laws or these terms. You know what I mean? So if I'm, if I'm with a woman and I tell her I love her and she the only one and I want to be with her and this and that, then that's really what it is. To be honest with you, I mean, I'm not gonna break my own code. So even if I see another woman,
Oh, that's so nice, Pot.
that I'm,
I didn't even
so
see that. I didn't see
so
that in you.
So
so
so so really you're saying it's for you if you're honoring your word as bond, basically.
yes, my word. It's my word. So I'm gonna feel guilty because I'm going against what I told somebody that I put my word. You know what I mean? I gave him my word, and once I go against my word, that's when I'm feeling a little disrupted and not together. You know what I mean? That bothers me. It's my word that really counts. So, but if I'm with somebody and I never say anything like that, which usually when I'm in a relationship, I usually do like the person a lot, so I really don't really need to be messing around with a lot of different women. So it's like cheating is a real complicated thing. But when a person cheats, though, honestly, they just never took the relationship really that seriously anyway. They just trying to have their cake and eat it too. They're just not being truthful about the whole situation.
So um is there anything binding that man can't override in a relationship to even allow a person to cheat? Because it sounds like to me, well, let me get my perspective first. I didn't get my perspective. My perspective on cheating. Here's the funny thing about human beings. You know, we have this thing called free will. Everybody has free will. We're not robots. We're not bound to a ball and chain saying you can't do X, Y, and Z. Free will is one of those things given to you by the creator, saying basic, you have freedom to choose to do whatever the hell you want to do. Now, I think when people make decisions, I don't think there's anything that can impede on a person's ability to do that. And I think sometimes we lose sight of that when we get into relationships or marriages, not realizing that. And I think that's where the disappointment comes in, because I think we lose sight of the fact that you're dealing with a human being and it's all about the mind. If you wake up that morning, married, relationship, whatever you're in, you have the ability to change your mind about that entire reality. And there's nothing the other person can do about it whatsoever.
Right. True.
What's bad about that?
You're not being honest and running, going along with those emotions that you had that morning. And, like you just decided that you don't want to be with that person, but okay, you're going to pretend and play it out and then go out and play Romeo. That's the problem. Now, your honesty and your truth will set you free. So if you're going to live by the code of freedom, then you speak on freedom too. You know what I mean? So everything you speak on, it got to be laid down. So even if it hurts the person, you were truthful about it. So that's the only honest and the more acceptable way of doing anything anyway. Like you just, I'm not doing this. I was doing it last week, but I made up my mind. I'm not going to pretend that I'm going to play this game when I don't want to be in the game no more. I mean, I don't mind playing it, but I just don't want to write my name all over it. You know what I mean? So,
but we don't live in, that's too much like we don't even live in a world like that. We don't live in a world where people can live by their truth. 95% of the population are not living their truth.
Yeah, they want fantasy and instead of reality.
To a template, they're conformed to a concept. They were born into a concept. They were born into a template. This is what they think is the way.
They don't want to hurt. People don't want to hurt people. That's the issue. Like, people don't want to be upfront.
People don't want to hurt people. However, you have people that, like, I would rather you hurt me to my core and tell me the truth about something, or like.
But how many people actually feel that way? I'm one of those people too. Just tell me. But a lot of people don't want to hear that.
But still,
I cry blood. Like, just tell me so I know what it is. You know what I'm saying? Like.
Now, how many people do you know personally?
I don't know.
Live by that truth.
Not too.
They'll find their way to go through that truth.
I don't think.
They'll give signals and signs and bad. They'll leave trash and trash too. They do it the wrong way though. You know what I mean? So what I'm saying is they start revealing that their interest really ain't there 100%.
I don't want hints.
But that's.
I'm just saying, but that's what caused chaos because you.
Yeah.
Bumping your way out.
But here's the thing. Chaos will ensue because people have, and we had a show on this. I call them mental subscriptions. When people subscribe to shit, there's going to be chaos when that subscription get infringed upon. So just because you are being truthful, saying, you know what, I woke up today, I don't even want to do this shit no more. This is my truth. I'm being honest, and I felt that I need to come to you and tell you that. That's your truth. Now, you see how you cringing? Because that's being brutally honest. We don't live in a world like that. Now, you talk about chaos. The chaos is going to come regardless, because then maybe the person on the other end, they can't deal with that level of honesty. You was better off lying to their ass.
Yeah,
and that's the
biggest problem. That's the world, period. That's all around now. People rather hear a lie anyway than the truth. That's what the world is based on. People so used to lies, they feel comfortable with lies. That goes deeper than relationships. Like,
I don't want nothing sugarcoated. If my outfit looks bad, tell me my outfit looks bad.
I don't know what you
crack on me and I get mad. Like, just tell me. Like,
I'm like,
don't sugarcoat anything for me. Like, I
think people, and let's go back to the word cheating. because I don't even like using that term. Reason being is you have to ask the question: what are you cheating a person out of? Time? Is that what somebody's getting cheated out of? Because they could have been doing something else. Are you really cheating a person out of time?
You can see it from that point. That's one point.
Okay, so let's strip that down. Person says, you know what? What did I cheat you out of? Well, you wasted my time. Okay, here's the deal. Person says, how? How did I waste your time? Well, every moment that you're breathing and living, you're in the moment. That's your time. So how am I wasting your time and you're living your life? Regardless of how you live it, what you choose to do with it, where you at, you're still on the clock, no matter what. So how am I cheating you out of time?
Yeah, you cheated. It's being cheated out of time where, yeah, you're living but you could have been spending your time doing something else. When things are made clear, this is, I mean, if something was made clear and then, you still decided something different, that's not a waste of time to me, because we had an understanding at the beginning and this is what it was. This is what we were doing. You don't want to be in it, or I don't want to be in it, or both. And okay, that's not a waste of time because we had an understanding. However, if you are in something and you're sugarcoating shit for somebody, or vice versa, and then the person comes along and says, oh, I don't want to do this anymore, and the other person says, you wasted my time. Yeah, you wasted the person's time because they were in a bubble of a whole nother scenario that wasn't given to them, and they could have been occupying their time doing something that they preferred to do. Now, they didn't prefer
like search for more love for what they usually
they preferred it, but
you don't think they preferred dealing with that person that had them waiting? Isn't that a choice?
They preferred it. However, they preferred it with with a different understanding. You have to give people the right to choose what they want. Like,
you're right. I'm playing devil's advocate here. If a person says, at the end of the day, it's going to boil down to decisions, right? And even if you made a decision under false pretenses, are you still accountable for the decision you made?
You
even
are
if
still.
Even if the person is bullshitting you, just straight up bullshitting you.
You are, but I could understand how somebody would say to somebody like, you wasted my time, because they could have been doing something else. I don't know, painting, sewing, traveling.
Another person.
That's true. But here's the thing. Anytime you deal with anybody, isn't it a gamble because you don't know what the fuck you're getting into? You don't know what they're gonna do.
That's true. And you already know the signs anyway. You already know the signs anyway, though.
You have no idea what the individual is going to do.
Yeah, because when you meet people, you essentially you meet their representative. In the beginning,
that's the beautiful person in the world.
Most of the time, the representative shows up, but the representative can't hide.
This entire process is a gamble.
Yeah, but here's the problem with the gamble. Here's the problem.
Gamble.
No. Here's the problem. Here's the real problem, though. What you're saying, I understand what you're saying, because
to a degree,
it is clear as day. Really when something is. I'm just saying from my point of view. When shit ain't really gonna work out. You just keep putting in more and more, trying to make it work when it ain't gonna fucking work. It's an energy thing, and it's also the signs and how a person communicate with you when a person could say 2 words and you already know that you and that person ain't going across the street together. It's that simple. Instead of living in la la land and giving that person excuses for maybe why they said this and that. Truth is relevant, but at the same time, you're looking from a universal perspective, but at the same time, respect is the ultimate. So having respect for the person next to you and telling the truth is just to me is the highest level of God. You know what I mean? That's, you know, you just like, you know, just being real and getting them out of that fucking delusional, you know, mystery and shit. So you wasting your time too. You're wasting your time too, buddy.
I don't.
Go ahead.
I got a weird take on wasting of time. I don't think from my understanding on how I understand time to be, it's not something that you can waste. I think we throw that term around based on what society has structured for us as what we should be doing as more important. But if you're in time, if you're in it at every waking moment, the now moment, how in the world are you wasting it when you're in it at the same time? But that's a whole nother dynamic.
You're wasting it. I'm gonna tell you why you're wasting it. I'm serious,
out, Jay.
Like I'm saying, but you're taking it from a universal star perspective again. But
how do you waste time? How do you waste time from a? How do you waste time from a universal perspective?
Right now, I am wasting my time right now. Honestly, I'm wasting my time right now.
Explain.
Because I'm sitting in a goddamn room talking about relations, first of all, but at the same time, but hold up. I'm wasting my time because my destiny, if you're not on your destiny, what's in your head, if you're not following that path, if you're not pursuing that path, if you're not pursuing the flavor that you inhale, like, you know, that if you're not pursuing that, I mean, I know you're going to go through ups and downs, but to me, if you are not doing that and you're standing still is, to me, kind of wasting time. Like, put it this way, like a car. If a car sits too long, it rusts out and it deteriorates. So it's just like the mind and the body. If you're sitting and you're not really moving or evolving, or you're just doing routine things, you basically rust out, and it's kind of wasting time because you were designed to evolve, to stretch the process of the imagination, stuff like that, like things that you have a.
But you do realize that is your perspective on it, right?
Yeah, I'm just saying, but time. Think about it.
That's your perspective on it.
My perspective on it is
once and it deteriorates, right?
We're not talking about an inanimate object. We're talking about
but that's us too. We suffer the same way.
A car can't make a decision. It's not.
It doesn't matter.
We're talking about
but we're going from a universal perspective. I'm saying if something sits too long,
yes, it is a gamble.
It will deteriorate. It means that it's not like if you drive a car, it'll run forever, right? So if you sit in there, you're losing time because your time evolves around to the point where when you're standing still, you become non-mobile and you deteriorate. You grow old, your bones break, just like a car, anything else, even your mind.
So is that what happened in relationships?
It's all based on the same science.
Explain.
In a relationship, when you're wasting time, when you're telling somebody lies and the person is like setting their whole reality around you and you're lying, knowing that you're gonna walk out on them pretty soon, you wasted somebody's time and you wasting yours too. And that's the biggest thing too.
But that's
not just yours.
That doesn't have anything to do with cheating.
I'm just saying people cheat when they don't want to be with a person, like they're more attracted to other people. Cheating, like you said, it's a man-made thing
when they're not being treated right.
I don't think it's that.
They bored.
I think people utilize their free will.
I don't think it's boredom.
I don't even want to use the term cheating. I'm not even going to say cheating. I think people make decisions at some point in their time. At some point in their time, to do whatever it is they want to do because they are offered the free will to do so. Who are we or anybody else to infringe upon that?
That's why I don't get caught up in. Y'all know a little bit. I'm trying not to get myself caught up in emotional content.
But hear what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people. We have gotten away from human nature. We've gotten away from the fact that human beings have the potential to do whatever. Regardless of what you think about them, regardless of how you feel about them, they have the potential to do whatever. Now, y'all sharing this mental agreement of, well, I would never, and I've agreed to, or I'm gonna keep my word. All this is a mental agreement.
Yeah, it's a respect. It's called respect.
But
That's what
in the backdrop of all of that, and this is and the fact that you said this is why I don't get involved with X, Y. You know what you're saying? You don't want to deal with the potential of human nature utilizing its free will to choose to do what it wants to do while you're mentally subscribed to it because it's unpredictable. You don't want to get involved with that because now you feel like you may get hurt.
That's true, but at the same time, I am willing to live it on a universal level. I don't want to be stuck in one place anyway. So that's really my
about that. We're talking about cheating. We're talking about
a person making decisions. That's what I'm talking about. We talking about relationships, so I'm just saying the reason why I think that way because I feel like it gives me choices in it, and I don't have to be attached and mental. And we all have experience when we've been in relationships. We've been mentally attached to somebody, and all the ups and downs you go through. I don't want to experience that no more because so the thing is,
you want to avoid.
I don't want to avoid. I just don't want to put a stamp on it. I don't want to agree to the terms on a. Put it this way, I don't want to own anything. I just don't want to own anything. I want to.
You can't own people.
That's it, but you do in some way. You don't own it, but on a respectful level, when you make agreements, people agree to things, and it's called respect, and that's what the universe has for everything. Like when things get too hot,
invisible contract.
When things get too cold, it fucking burns. When things get to it burns.
It's all an illusion. It's all an illusion.
Yeah, it is an illusion, but that's how we get respect.
There's nothing binding about that contract.
Yes, it is. That's your respect to a person. It's binding to a contract.
No, it's not. Because your respect in a relationship can get trampled and shitted upon at a drop of a dime. Means nothing to nobody but you.
Right. Exactly. So you have to show respect to a person so you don't waste nobody's time.
You don't.
Well, then if you don't want to do that, then that makes you a piece of shit to me, dog. If you're gonna sit there and lie to somebody and have an agreement with them,
are people.
Two guys making an agreement together, showing the quality of person that they are. Yeah, you can do anything you want, but it's your quality of who you are. If you're gonna that's how I live my life. If I say something or do this or whatever with a person, that's where I'm at because I give you my word.
I'm glad you said that.
My word shows me my word.
I'm glad you said that because you just gave your personal perspective on how you see the world.
It's not how I see, it's how I want to be respected.
That's how you see it. Yeah, same thing. Same thing.
I don't want to put it out. To me, if you disrespect somebody, you disrespect yourself. Because you're putting an illusion of yourself that's not real. You sitting there telling somebody this and that. It all comes down to you. Yeah, but who cares about the world? The world doesn't mean nothing. That's why we're going through shit now because people want to.
That's still going to boil down. That's still going to boil down to your personal perspective.
Right, but that's yours too. Don't you want to be respected?
No, I don't.
Don't you? You don't want to be. Come on, Dre. Come on, man.
No.
So since you don't want to respect it, then you don't want to respect nobody. That's what you're basically saying. You don't want to show respect.
You gotta hear my perspective.
I know what you're gonna do, but
no, you don't. No.
Go ahead. Just say what you're gonna say.
I haven't even given you my perspective.
Go ahead.
And I won't make broad statements. The thing about people when they make decisions to step out on people, it's a mental agreement. On the flip side of the mental agreement are your written contracts. People get married, they have marriage license and stuff like that, where at a state level, you can't just walk away because now there's paperwork and contracts involved. Now,
exactly.
That shit is binding. You got to go through all these hoops to get out of that, right?
Right.
And some people in a sad way want you in that predicament because you can't leave Even though if you change your mind, which
Right.
is the first level of freedom, just choosing to do what the hell you want to do with your life.
But remember,
You
with freedom comes consequences, no matter what. But go ahead.
when you make a decision, they've got it to a point where now you have to get out of the situation, and it's going to cost you some money, and it's going to be a whole drawn out process. And I'm not saying that anything is wrong with this, because there's benefits that come along with that and the whole shebang. I'm not anti-marriage and none of that. What I'm saying is we have gotten to a place where we have forgotten the fact that people, regular human beings, have the capabilities of doing whatever the fuck they want to do. We've gotten so far away from that, and we've created these concepts of what people should be, what relationships should be, what marriage should be, and we live by these concepts. The whole time we're living by this concept, in the backdrop, in the shadowy area, in the dark spaces, all the shit that's going on that nobody wants to talk about is still running its course. You know why it's in the backdrop running its course? Because that's the real shit that goes on every day in everybody's lives, and they camouflage it and cover it up with all of this conceptual stuff to put out on Front Street to let everybody see, okay, this is how a normal citizen is supposed to act, and this is how a normal citizen is supposed to dress, and this is what a normal citizen is supposed to do with their life, and a normal citizen is supposed to have X, Y, and Z, and the picket fence, and blah, blah, blah. We put all this up front because we're taught to put all that up front. Meanwhile, you got motherfuckers with shows like Divorce Court. You got Cheaters, fucking TV show. You got all types of shit going on in the background that nobody wants to deal with, but they always want to put the other shit up front like that's real. That's not even the real part of relationships. All the real shit is going on in the background, but nobody wants to talk about it. Right. When I say I'm not looking for respect, with expectations brings disappointment.
And I don't mean by that way looking for respect. I'm just saying you want to be respected as you respect people, so you prefer the same energy back. That's all. I'm not saying something that you can control the power. I'm just saying, like, I'm not talking about. That's an expectation that actually, to me, it has value on it. That's a valuable expectation. All that other shit for somebody to do something and this and that for you and all that. But when you have your word with somebody, that's an agreement between you and that person. So don't even make the agreement if you don't have no aspect. Why the fuck make the agreement then? Why even get married if you don't want to have any respect on this shit? You know what I mean? So you asking for chaos right there in your face. So it's like, that's why I'm not married. That's why I don't deal with none of this shit, because I don't believe in it myself. I don't deal with it. I fucking never get married because I know how people change. Like you said, I know how people feel the next day. I know, and I can't see myself, to be honest with you. I can't see myself with one woman like that anyway. The universe is just too big for me. I got balls the size of fucking planets. You think they just want to be fucking caught up in a black hole somewhere? No.
Here's how you put the two pieces together. Let's bring a little balance to this, because it's coming across as, we can't trust people and we shouldn't get in relationships. And no, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is we have to bring balance to the way we are relating today. That's why we're having so many fucking issues. First of all, we need to acknowledge the elephants in the room. We got a subculture of shit that's going on within, let's just say, the black community. And nobody wants to talk about the subculture and the shit that they tuck away that's in the shadowy area of our lives. All the shit that's pushed up front, this is what society is telling us that we need to portray and act like, and these are the pictures that we need to paint of our lives. Meanwhile, the human nature aspect of relationships, the real shit, that shit's tucked away and nobody really wants to talk about it. The reason why I think, in my own personal opinion, that people step out and utilize their free will, how they want to use it. I'm not even going to say cheating, because cheating you out of what? Like at the end of the day, we all have to make decisions if we want to participate in some shit. And if somebody's being deceptive, then that deception will come to a head. But it's a gamble. Anybody you fucking deal with, it's a fucking gamble because you don't know what you're gonna get. You don't know what this person is gonna be 6 months down the road. You don't even know if they're gonna run off with all your fucking money and they done told you every fucking thing you wanted to. You don't know that.
Right.
It's a gamble, but you got to get into the gamble. You got to be out there rolling the dice. You got to be in the game to see what the fuck if you're gonna win or lose. That's the game of life. So what I'm saying is this: we need to discuss why people are choosing to do X, Y, and Z. Not because, listen, most men, they're not really being totally honest with their mate. Most men are hardwired, not gay dudes, but regular dudes are hardwired to be attracted to women all over the fucking planet.
Have you looked at them? Have you seen them?
I've seen them.
Have you seen them? If you not, there's something wrong with you anyway. You ain't even living if you can't be. Shit, all kinds of ice cream out there, man. I like all of them. I like butter pecan. I like what we talking about? Strawberry shortcake, brownie. What's
wrong with you?
You got
Toast
what is it? We got all kinds. We got pralines and cream. We got everything, man. Come on, man. Who want to eat one ice cream flavor for the rest of their life?
Cheesecake.
Strawberry cheesecake. What about the banana pudding one you talking about? I can't wait to get my hands on that.
So what I'm saying is, let's bring it back around. But what I'm saying is, most men are not going to be. We suppress. When we get into a relationship, we suppress a lot, just as being a male. And women don't understand that. I'm not saying you have to be a fucking animal with no self-control. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is there's certain aspects to a man that is going to be there, right? And when you have to suppress that, that is a fucking battle for a man to take that and to act like this is not a part of your DNA structure.
Right.
Let's act like it's not human, right? Then there's certain aspects of a woman, how she's hardwired, that she shouldn't be suppressing because she's with her man or around a man. She can't be a full woman. We have to learn to be comfortable in our skin as male and female and be whole people, because we're not whole. Like if you look at somebody and why are you looking at her and shit like that, or if she looks at somebody, why are you looking at him? And no, we got to get past shit like that, because the bottom line is you have to allow a human being to be a human being, and we can be together and still be fucking human. But when you start suppressing shit and trying to tuck it in your back pocket and act like it don't exist, now you got motherfuckers creeping off. They looking at their porn, they looking at OnlyFans and all of this, that, because they're suppressing something. Because they're trying to fit into this mold. They're trying to fit into this concept of what society said we should act in a relationship.
Right.
I believe if you're gonna be with a person and you can be 100% your fucking self, both of y'all, what's fucking with that?
Nada.
When you can be 100% yourself and y'all can mentally subscribe to be together, whether it be a marriage, boyfriend and girlfriend, whatever the hell, what's fucking with that?
Nothing. That's why I like that You're All I Need by Method Man. Like on one part he's like something and he's like, you my nigga. Like, yeah, nothing fucks with that.
My thing is
being able to be like just open and just be themselves, like not hiding anything. Nothing is fucking with that. Like,
but the only problem is when you don't. Here's the problem with that though. That plays a lot. I mean, it's in this world we live in, this reality, this created reality we live in. you know, it has its boundaries, it has its way of how you travel through it, and these rules and laws that some bastards made up to keep you oppressed, you know, however we want to say that. And, you know, we are, like you said, the first time, once we go to school, we are learned to have possession. Like everything that's taught in school it teaches us to, like, this is mine, which this ain't even yours. You know what I mean? Like it teaches us to be possessive and own everything, claim ownership. So this how they taught us how to think is like when you have a feeling towards somebody, you own them. And they feel like it's like we got a business mind state. It's like our minds is been hacked to think like a corporation. You know what I mean? Like everything that we do is corporation related. You know what I mean? Like we want to own shit that we don't even own. We playing a game. You know what I mean? Like nobody owns the beach. Nobody owns the streets. Nobody owns the house, whatever. Nobody has possession of anything. Everybody's pretending. And like you said, that's the problem. Because when you're pretending, that has nothing to do with nature. Doesn't pretend. You know, whatever nature does, it does. So when you're pretending, you're being oppressed. Like, you know, but when you're designed mentally to pretend, you don't know the difference. So a lot of us, we live in that corporate mind state. Like we own shit that we build, that we touch, that's around us. Everything is like we're possessive.
It's an illusion.
Actually have ownership.
The reason why it's an illusion, because when you leave this place, you can't take none of that shit with you, and you can't take no one with you.
Right.
So it's everything's on borrowed time. And
hardwired.
Back to the relationship. From my experience, most men, and this is for the ladies, most men don't cheat because there's a lack thereof. Let me explain. Indeed. Most men don't go and cheat on you because it's some shit you ain't doing.
Right.
Let's just keep it a being. No. Most men are feeding the appetite. That's just what it is. Take it for what it's worth.
Indeed.
You can do every fucking thing for him. Have everything perfect. At the end of the day, he's feeding the appetite, and it ain't got shit to do with you.
True.
It just don't. And then, you know, you have women be like, well, what did I do? Maybe I should have did, and I didn't do. And no.
I was cheated on once, and yeah, that's exactly what it was. Like, what is it that I wasn't doing? And the response was like, nothing. Like, you do everything. Like, you know, like, but
why aren't we having these discussions about shit like that? We have discussions about men being dogs, or, you know,
I don't think all men are dogs, and I just think it's just a natural something. Well, I've learned that now, because I was there when I was like, well, what wasn't I doing? Like, what didn't I do? Like, you know, like maybe I wasn't doing something right, or, you know, because as women, you beat yourself up about certain things. Like, okay, I must have been slacking somewhere. And you're right. It's not always that.
Majority of, not all the time, but majority of men, they're feeding the appetite. Not to say some of those situations are not, you know, maybe something is not right here or there and they make a choice. But most men are feeding a hardwired appetite of being attracted to females, and like he said, the different flavors that are out there. And I know there's a level of self-control, and this is easy for a woman to say that, but she's not a man.
She's not a man, and that's why I say, like, I don't know, like,
because women are not hardwired like that.
No, we're not. And
but you know what?
I can't speak for the ones that are.
Yeah, some are, like, but majority aren't.
Yeah. I can't speak for them, but for the ones that are, like, pretty much, like, once they're into, like, when they have their dude and they're into their dude, like, they don't see anything else.
Exactly.
I mean, not meaning that, you know, you might not see a handsome person or whatever, but it's not handsome like, oh, like, wow, like I'm trying to holler at him or something like that. It's like you don't see anybody else. Like you're being taken care of and you don't see anybody
That
else.
is true. And I tried to explain this to some sisters. You got a big portion of women naturally that are hardwired in just being just a total woman. When they're into you, they're into you. They don't
Right.
see anything else. It's like having
But they
blinders
can't
on.
lay down.
Yeah,
They can't
it's
lay down. They
that's
can't lay down
exactly
with
what
other
it
men.
is.
Huh? What'd you say?
They
Jay?
can't lay down. Oh, let's say they can't lay down with other men when
That's
when
exactly what it is. Like it's like having blinders on. Like
yeah.
And that's
and it's not
how.
intentional. It's not
No,
something that you
it's in the
force.
DNA.
It's just a
It's
natural.
hardwired. Yeah, it's
Like you
hardwired.
don't even
Yeah.
you don't
I tried to
see anybody
explain
else.
this, that there's different women out here. And I said, you traditional, just regular, wholesome, just female, they're hardwired to be drawn to one guy. That's just the
But
way
the
it
new ones is a little different.
I always
Now,
say it's all or
let's
nothing. Like it's
let's
all
talk
or
about
nothing.
them. Let's talk about them.
The new ones is a
Most
little
of
different.
now the new ones want to be on an equal playing field as a man. And these women, I'm gonna just keep it a buck, and they probably I get backlash for it. These are not regular women. And I'm not saying that to justify men having an appetite for women. What I'm saying is regular women, when they're into you, they're into you. Then you have the other ones who want to be on an equal playing field with the man. I want if he can go out and do X, Y, and Z, shit, I want to go out and do X, Y, and Z. That is not normal for a woman. Normal women don't think like that. I'm not saying it's a bad thing. I'm just
they're not physically designed for it either, though. They're not even physically designed to do that.
That's a whole nother discussion. And I've had that discussion with some women, and they're like, it
is a whole nother discussion. And like honestly speaking, like I'm not trying to be on the same level as any man. Like men have their, you guys are protectors and providers and those type of things. Like I'm not trying to be bumping heads with like I always say that there is ways like a woman can deal with, like can go through a situation or be with their man and things go, how to work things, you know what I mean, to make things go in your favor and that type of stuff. But to be in competition or going off or like I don't even like to argue, to be honest, like because I've been there when I doing it so much. I don't even like to argue. Like arguments here and there, yeah, okay, but to be cussing your man out and like going off and bumping heads and going back and forth, like yeah, that's new age stuff, I guess. And doesn't mean that I wasn't there once, because like I said, I watched my mother be like a caterer to my dad. Like she did everything. And I used to be like, I'm not about to be like her. What is she? We used to call her, all of us in the house. No, we used to call her Edith Bunker. From All in the Family.
All in the Family.
Mm-hmm. We used to call her Edith Bunker. It used to be like, look how nasty like he is, and she's like bending over backwards. He didn't have to do a damn thing. And I used to be like, I wish a nigga would. Like, ain't nobody getting that out of me, and blah blah blah. And guess what? I am my mother's child. As I got older and matured, because in my teenage 20s and stuff like that, like I'm cooking for you, like like I'm not doing your laundry. I'm not doing, but you get older and more mature, and it's like, I get it. You get it. And it
women still, like, they're not physically designed for multiple males. They're not physically designed to.
We're not.
They're not.
To take on all that energy, like you constantly, you'll burn your wire out. You're an interior. You got shit coming inside of you. You know what I mean? Like, so it's like you ain't supposed to take those shots like that. You know what I mean? Those shots will ruin your insides and ruin your DNA and everything else who you are. You know what I mean? You're taking the inner, like, you know,
But
not
just
saying,
on a but just on a
yeah,
domestic level though, if you look at it on a domestic level, you know,
yeah.
some women are they have this mindset, and it's a new age mindset because
It's new
it
age.
comes from the younger generation where the young mom
Young
had
moms.
the children and they grow up and they have young kids and so forth and so on. So they think a certain way. Like, but anyway, my point I'm trying to make is that, you know, when they have this competitive thing, when you put it back into the perspective of being a wife, right? And I can do what a man do, and I can have multiple husbands or whatever. So that means you're gonna cook and clean for multiple men. You're gonna have to take care of multiple men when they're sick. You're gonna have kids for multiple men. Like the shit don't even it don't even
Yeah, but she
seem
can't
like
even
it's
have. Yeah,
same.
yeah, but she can't even have kids with multiple men. You know how long
Yes,
that would. And no,
yes,
I'm
she
saying
can.
no. What I'm saying on a universal
Because
perspective, she
because
can only be
the
with
kid is
one
baking for
man
like
in
10 months.
every 9 months.
Yeah,
You know,
somebody got
she
they
can
gotta
only have
get in
kids.
line. They're gonna have to
Yeah,
get in
so it's like
line.
so she's not designed for that. A man can have a civilization off a couple of months of sex. He can have like hundreds and hundreds of women impregnated. He can start a whole damn civilization within a week if he wanted, depending on his energy level. You know what I mean? Depending on his potency. So you know what I mean? So it's like it just shows you you're a machine for something and she's a machine for something. And her machine is a lot more complex, which yours is complex when it comes down to the energy that you're pushing out. And hers is complex to the development of your energy. So they're both complex. You know what I mean?
We
So
have two different
on
functions,
equal
and
basis.
I think I said it on the last podcast, like when, you know, when the females are younger, they have baby dolls and they have houses, like doll houses, and they're doing all these things, and we're wired different and you guys are wired different. You guys are like not animals to say, but you know how like the no, you know I'm cleaning it up, y'all. You know how like the lions in the jungle or that type of
We
like,
had masculinity. We had masculine things that we
you
grew
know,
up
with
on
just like,
masculinity.
and as far
That's
as
what
like the cheating goes, you guys are like hunters or something. Like you,
yeah.
it's just something
Lions
in
have a
you.
pride. They have a pride, and he's over that lion is over all the female lioness in the pride, and you know
Right.
he is, and it's just
And they
one
really
male.
make the choice. They
So
make the
it's a
choice. Yeah.
similar type of thing. You know what's so dope about, not even to gear it off, but what's so dope about that is how when a lion, is it a lion? Yeah, a lion. That's when he's going to be attacked, how the female lion kind of like protects his so he doesn't get killed, like she would jump in the way kind of type of thing. No.
That is dope. I mean, if you think about it, it goes back, and it's funny because when you look at ancient African cultures, a lot of those kingdoms fashioned themselves based on nature. Like if you look at Black Panther, his entire military was women.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one king,
One
and they
king
protected him at all cost
at all
with their
costs.
lives.
But yeah, with lions, they like if there's some sort of threat or whatever, the female lion will come and like pretty much protect his throat. Like whereas he's not getting, like she would just like be in the way. Like if they get anybody, they getting her and not him.
So
That's pretty dope.
I know
Anyway,
sometimes too, the male lion also guards the females too. Like I mean, they allow the females to hunt, but if it gets out of hand, they'll come in and take care of business, or they'll, you know what I mean. So it's like they play a protect. They're a protector, even though the females do all the work, but they will come in and clean the way. Like if there's some hyenas in the way or something like that, he'll come in like, let me get rid of these motherfuckers so these ladies can hunt and do what they gotta do. So he does play a part too. Like he does have a part to play. So
let's let's switch gears a little bit. Um, now that we've discussed
First
this
gear,
whole
second, third gear,
stepping out
fourth gear.
thing and utilizing your free will, we're not gonna call it cheating because, like I said, it's a gamble. We really do not have a blueprint on what we're gonna get when we start dealing with people. People say, well, that's why you should get to know a person and take
That ain't even
time to
that's
You
date
not
know
them.
why
even
I would call it cheating, Dre?
Why would you call it cheating?
because the
Because you're
word,
you're being cheated out of the truth.
right?
Cheat out of the truth.
I kind of
Yes.
agree with you. Like, so,
Okay, okay.
You're being cheated out of the truth.
I
Somebody
can
could
roll
be
with that.
blatantly honest and say, like, hey, this is what it is. I got this person over here, but I still want to play around and I would like you to whatever the case is. And it's like, damn, like you either
That
gonna
I
say,
can
I'm not
agree
fucking with
with.
him,
I can
or
agree. I can
I'm not
agree with
fucking with
that.
him, or you know what? Well, he
it's
was
about your
honest.
word.
Like,
Just it all comes down to the word of God, and I
I
see
look at
many
I look at it
times.
like this.
So,
And I think
to
you
the
said
word.
it earlier. And I'm a big person. I'm big on this. Don't take away my ability to choose.
yes,
That's
don't
it.
do that. Just don't do that.
And it's not even and it's not and by me saying that, that's not me saying that you can't be who you are. But if you are very transparent about who you are, then you don't take away my ability to choose.
Right.
Because you with me, because in a perfect world, this is not how we operate. We have been taught to love the state of ignorance and not knowing because it's comfortable. It's
Right,
comfortable to be ignorant and not know shit because you're not held responsible. But for me, if you don't take away my ability to choose, then you have a good chance of me really fucking with you because now you've presented everything you needed to present to me from you. And now I could be like, you know what? I could roll with that, you know.
And there are some people that might disagree, but ladies, if there's any ladies in this chat that's ever gone through anything where it's like, because the worst thing is thinking that you're with somebody or being with somebody and then you start dating and this person is selling you this whole pipe dream and then you find out he has somebody. It's the worst thing ever because it's like, I started liking this person. We done went on dates. We done whatever have you. Now you're just like side eyeing and just like, you know what? Just it's like a whole upside down thing. But say it from gate. Like say it from gate and give me the option. Most of the
yeah.
time, men
The thing
probably
about that,
won't say it from
yeah,
gate
like
because
okay,
they don't want
they're on the
to
hunt.
lose out on an opportunity. But
Yeah,
if they would sit down and think about it, they would have a better chance at the opportunity
If you just kept
if
it a
they were
buck.
truthful.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I would agree. I would agree with that. Far as if we want to entertain the concept of cheating, don't cheat me out of the being able to choose in the beginning. Well, if I want to fuck with you or not. That aspect of it, I can agree with 100% because I'm that's my shit. Like, let's just keep it. Tell
a being.
me, if whatever, so I can make a honest choice if I want to go left or right. Um, that I agree with. Now, why people in relationships decide to go left and they didn't cheat you out of making a decision because they're typically good people. They're doing what they're supposed to do. They're doing, you don't have any fucking problems, and they still make a choice to go left. That's really what I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Not,
that's not
not,
cheating.
yeah,
That's
yeah,
just
not
that's the gamble.
yeah, not the deception of going into it and somebody is being fugazi and you're kind of fucking with my ability if I want to fuck with you or not. Yes, that's totally fucked up. What I'm saying is you're in it, shit's cool, y'all moving right along, living the fucking dream, whatever that is,
And then you're
and
like,
a person decides to go left, you know, that's what I'm talking about. Their ability to have free will to choose to go left. And we needed to really discuss why people decide to go left. And it's not always based on lack thereof.
No, it could be work. It could be,
No,
what
It could be. It could be
embarking.
lack thereof. It could be lack
It
thereof.
could be. It could
But
be.
that's
But
not
it
always
could
the
be
case.
other things like embarking on a new career journey, and the weight of having this whole relationship or being in something is going to take up space and time, and it could
I
be a
think
number
it's
of
all
things.
excitement. I think we love excitement.
Multitudes,
I like we like
multitudes of
new shit,
reasons.
excitement, new
But
experience,
I
new
just
car,
hate.
new moment.
The whole and that's going back to um and I'll probably catch flack for this, but we're on a planet where the creator gave us so many different facets of every fucking thing. Like a tree, there's so many different types of trees, so many different types of fish, so many different types of flowers. Like shit is just so diverse. Why do we have this? And I think this is by design. I'm not gonna hold you on that. I think it's by design how they condition us to be like the hamster on the wheel, and we're just going on this straight and narrow thing until we die. We're not allowed to think outside of the box or
Because we're
live
here to
outside of the
build.
box.
Because we're here to build for them. We're here to build. We're still, living that slave, that, I don't know what to call it, but
But that
they only
still
need
goes,
us to build,
but that
not
still
conquer.
plays a part in how we relate. But here's the funny thing about relationships, whether it be marriages or whatever. Evolution. Evolution is a mechanic of existence. Everything fucking evolves. We evolve
Indeed.
from babies up to grown-ups. So the thing is this: how we have our relationships now, I think we've come to the crossroads on that. You got all of these subcategories with the LGBT and all this other shit going on. And these people, whether you agree with it or not, they've taken their reality and their truth and they're living it. They don't give a fuck about what people think. And they're
True.
being very proactive to facilitate them living their truth. They're creating a whole new reality, whether we agree with this shit or not.
Or
But
not.
they're taking it to that level where it's a real fucking thing, and they got it now to the point where you dare question shit. But here we are, the normal people, still on the hamster wheel of regular relationships and regular marriages, but we still got a fucking ton of issues in the backdrop that's been going on forever, but nobody wants to fucking talk about those so we can fucking upgrade. My girl got a girlfriend. My dude got 3 girls. My dude got a dude and a girl and all this shit going on, right?
Right.
But this shit is pushed, this ain't even pushed in the backdrop no more. It's right in our face. But we're not having a conscious discussion on what are we going to do about the evolving culture of how we relate. It's almost like Santa Claus and the Christmas thing. Like you grow up and you believe in, this shit, and then you come to realize
that,
yeah, and then you have to change and create, like in my house, it's Children's Day. I've taken something that was an old outdated program called Christmas, right? And in my house, it's called Children's Day. That's the day we celebrate our children, and our children know that their gifts and things come from their fucking parents. And we paid money, we worked for it. And as a child, to celebrate you have to put in your work as a child to be able to deserve these things. There's no mystery about that. So we've taken something that was outdated, we evolved it, and now it works for us. Just like the LG, whatever the hell, they got their shit they took and evolved the whole fucking community around it, and politics and everything, and money and commerce. They did that.
Everything.
We are the only ones still bumping around in the dark about two people getting together. Oh, somebody cheated, or the shit ain't working, or they don't cook and clean, and the same old corny shit. Instead of having a conversation about how do we update this? For instance, let's get to a space where we can put on the table our honesty in the beginning, not take away my ability to choose. Why isn't that a discussion that we're having right now?
Because people don't,
not on the podcast, but I'm just saying, like, why isn't that a big thing? We still
because
talking about
people on different levels. You know that. You know, you got you can't mix people on different levels. You know, you got people that want to be like that, but then you got people that don't want to be like that. Then, you know, it's like we always gonna be clashing. So it's really all your everything is your own personal perception of what you want your life to really be, to be honest with you.
I get that. I get
they're creating metaverse.
Look at the wave, though.
Stuff.
How many waves going on right
fantasy. You have social media that gives you all of these, like you see these, like the bodies that are done up, and people are still tuning them and fixing them and all of that stuff. Like people want fantasy. Yeah. You know,
a lot of these people in fantasy stuff, they don't even want to show who they're
fantasy. There's nobody, there's no reality. Like you, even when you do certain things, you have like the face thing, like to fix up your face or whatever.
Yeah, that's why you're gonna be married to somebody like that. Watch, you're gonna get married
and stuff like that. Nobody wants like nobody's posting about how bad they're doing, or nobody's showing up and saying. People don't want they don't want reality. They want to be in this fantasy. That's hence why metaverse is coming into fruition.
Yeah, true indeed. That's why that
so people can get that fantasy that they want, and they can escape their reality. Nobody wants reality. Like, and I don't even think, honestly, I don't even think I'm not going to say the same way I wouldn't say like all men are dogs. I like, and what is that actually? But I really don't think that we are in a place where now, like where people, too many people have that in them to be like, listen, this is what it is. This is, you know, it's just all the younger, I guess the younger folks, but people that might be.
I think the younger folks are going to force traditional folks' hand at some point, because let me give you a good example. You ever meet an older person and they say, well, not you, because you've said this before, but I've been around older people and they say they don't make them like me anymore. What does that mean?
Yeah.
What does that mean? It's like a fucking model of some shit that you can't even find anymore. It just
you know what it means? The
I know what it means, but I want you to explain. Yeah.
The analogy I'll give to that, I know you know what it means. The analogy I'll give to that is how the old school grandmothers and the grandmothers we have now, like they don't make them like that. Like the old school grandmas don't exist anymore. Like they're long gone. Old school grandma was like 80, 70, 80 years old, making food and, you know, taking care of us. And we would get whoopings. And while the, you know, parents were like, you know, and the grandmas now are like 30 years old. And
so with that being said,
certain moral values and characteristics and, you know, things and upbringings and the basic home structure is not really.
So if that doesn't exist anymore like it should, and they are obsolete, so to speak,
we were the last.
That means something happened. There was an evolution. Whether evolution went in a good way or a bad way, but we evolved to what we have now. But now we're at another evolutionary point. The question is, which way are we gonna go? Because the traditional way is gone, and you just said it was.
It is.
So now that we're at a juncture where it's time for the next upgrade, how do those people who still have those old ways kind of lingering around, how do you take that and update it where it can be the new thing going forward so we don't get left behind? Because when I meet those people that are older who say they don't make them like me no more, it's one thing for them to say that, but you don't even see them. You don't even see those people.
But you know what I was about to say? I was about to say I don't care about like teaching my family and the people around me and like my daughter and teaching them certain moral values and stuff like that. Yeah, but I almost want to say like you can't teach everybody. Like you can't
what? And I'm gonna show you how you could, but go ahead.
Oh my gosh. I so don't want to say it. I was gonna
say
say
it.
you can't. I was gonna say like you can't teach everybody. Like you can't teach everybody, but I guess you could.
Well, look at it like this. If those old folks who don't really exist anymore saying they don't make them like me anymore, at some point they existed. They don't exist anymore. Something took their place and evolved into what we have now. Not, yeah, we're midway, but it evolved to something else. Who taught that generation that new thing that we don't care for too much? Who taught them that? Or is it a byproduct of evolution?
Well, what is evolution? First of all,
wait. No.
Damn, that's a good question.
We're not getting into that yet. No. What is evolution? We're talking about if the old folks who said that they don't make them like me anymore, if they don't exist anymore, really, can't even really find them. Evolution took place and gave birth to something after that we don't care for too much, right? It happened. We've made the clear distinction that, this younger generation, blah, 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 we're not really feeling. Evolution is going to occur regardless. The thing is, what part are you playing to help it evolve into what you want to see is the question. Because if you leave it go on just however, you end up with what you have now. So I'm saying, as I'm just going to call us regular people. If the regular people now at that evolutionary juncture where we need to make a change on what's coming next, we need to make a decision on what we want to see, because the alphabet soup people, they made a decision on what they wanted to see for themselves. Did they not? Did they not?
They
made a decision. They made a decision.
They got that,
on
and it's stamped.
They made a decision on what they wanted to see their shit evolve to, and they did it. What are we going to do about us?
So I get it.
And it's not about you going standing on the corner with a bullhorn trying to save.
Right.
No, that's not what I'm saying. But just you helping to evolve your circle gives birth to future generations that's going to go out into the world and meet other people, and that same seed is going to grow, and they're going to carry on that message. My thing is this. If we want change, we're going to have to be that change, and we have to start that change right in our own little circle. And when we're long gone, those seeds that we sowed, they're going to be running through generations.
Yeah, that's so true.
But we have to start it. So my thing is, the regular people need to figure out what's the next phase of their evolution when it comes down to dating, marriage, and how we relate to one another here and now, or we're going to get left somewhere. Real talk.
We're already getting left.
Just like those people who say they don't make them like me no more.
Mm-hmm.
Obsolete, outmoded.
Yeah.
So we're at the crossroads where we got to make a decision, and we got a voice. We have a voice right now to say, hey, let's stop acting like JoJo ain't sleeping with the neighbor. Let's sit JoJo down and say, hey, why are you sleeping with the neighbor? Let's get to the bottom of that. Huh? Let's have that discussion. I don't care how uncomfortable it is. But nobody wants to do that.
That's so true.
Or Momo is sleeping with whomever and she married or whatever. But let's have that discussion. I'm not saying get rid of Momo. I'm not saying get rid of JoJo.
No.
What I'm saying is let's sit down and understand the psychology of why JoJo and Momo are doing what the fuck they're doing. Right. So we can figure out how we can evolve this thing and move forward. Because if something has to be kept secret, and it bothers you and it's so taboo, when you bring it to the forefront into the light and everybody knows and it's not even a shock and awe thing anymore, it loses its fizzle. It's like, oh, okay, and tell me something I don't know.
Right.
That ain't shit. Yeah, okay. It's kind of like the husband steps out on the wife, and the chick he's with gets at the wife out of retaliation to kind of fuck him up because he don't want to deal with her no more. By the time the chick gets to the wife with the information, the wife is like, I already knew that.
Okay.
I know your name. I knew everything.
Right.
That's the type of relationship we have. So what are you doing? He ain't leaving me. He ain't going nowhere. So now what?
Right.
And this is what they got set up. You see how you neutralize the bullshit? Because I'm not saying everybody, but they have an agreement on how they want to live their lives. They've evolved it to that, to say, hey, we have a open situation where he can whatever. I know about that. We're cool with that. This is how we live our life. Just like the alphabet soup people live their life. Structure your shit based on what makes you happy.
Right.
So by the time she gets to the doorstep with the news, like she gonna blow up the spot, she's like, I know your name. I know everything. So okay, so why are you here? And now
that's what I think. I think people should live and be happy and do what the fuck makes them happy. Like, period. You know, that's like my opinion.
In a perfect world, but that's the society ain't gonna accept that.
I don't give a fuck about what I don't care about
money. There's no money in a perfect world. Everything must be resourced and to make money out of. This world is based on money.
Where is society when you need to pay a bill? Where is society when you need things? Like, who gives a fuck what society has to say? Like, who cares?
You shouldn't live by those terms, though. You shouldn't live by what society thinks.
Yeah, like if I want to do something, if I wanted to run amok,
what I'm saying is,
I don't
society.
give a fuck what society has to say.
This world wouldn't
exist if you live a good life, regardless if you live a structured life or if you are living like an asshole. Guess what? Society is going to have something to say, and they're going to have an opinion. So do what the fuck you want to do. Live your life how you want to live it.
I'll do it.
You're gonna get judged. You get judged anyway. Either way you look at it, you get judged anyway. Whether you know it or you don't know it, you're getting judged anyway. Live it how you want to live it.
So why can't? And this goes back to what I was saying. So why can't we take that philosophy and upgrade our relationships on that philosophy of not trying to appease society and structure what the fuck we want to structure as a community that makes us happy?
Because once that starts happening,
what are you getting at, Dre?
No. What I'm saying is everything you just said. Why can't we take and structure relationships that way?
We could
about what society thinks about how your relationship.
We could if people are open and honest about things. We could, technically speaking, if people were.
Now you're getting the point that I'm trying to drive home. If people were open and honest, they could bring all the shit that's tucked in the background, in the back pocket, all in the dark crevices of subculture.
But it looked like it's getting there anyway.
And bring it to the front so we can deal with it. It is getting there. It is getting there. Slowly but surely, we got to have these conversations. Like, I can remember a time when I first heard, I don't know what rap song it was, but dude was like, my girlfriend got a girlfriend. And
that don't sound good from a man, though. I just don't think that's still in a man's nature to share a woman with another.
That's an opinion. That's an opinion. But what I'm saying is, it was actually on a hit song on the radio, and it became a norm. Like, that's a normal thing now. But that was a taboo. It was taboo when that song came out. Like, niggas wasn't putting that on Front Street.
I think I don't remember what song, but I know
what song it was. It was Shoulder Lean by Young Dro.
It's young.
Yeah.
But we are.
No, that's another conversation. That's another conversation.
You're right. We are evolving because remember when I remember my grandmother used to watch soap operas, and right before they went to go kiss and their lips would meet, it would be a commercial break. People wouldn't even kiss on TV. Now they tonguing each other down.
I gotta cover my daughter's eyes all the time.
Kissing, like, so we are going on a whole nother. It's a whole nother.
So now, do you guys get the point when I say we're at the next evolutionary jump? And we got to make a decision on which way we want this shit to go for us. Because everybody else is pretty much chose the path that they want, and they're very proactive about that vision and how they see themselves in their relationships. We're the only ones still with an old fucking program on divorce court and all these other bullshit ass shows, and
which is like ancient to them. To the younger generation is like
So we got to have a proactive discussion about what we're going to be able to do going forward, and pull all the subculture shit that's in the background all the way to the front, and then sit down and have a discussion about it. And that's what I'm posing to the panel as well as the viewers. We just have to take shit that we don't want to talk about, but we know for a fact is going on, and bring it to the light and have a fucking discussion. Not a discussion on do's and don'ts, because that shit is irrelevant. You tell a motherfucker what not to do, they gonna do it.
Yeah, you tell somebody what not to do, that makes them want to do it more.
Yeah, so that's problem number one. You can't do X, Y, and Z. That's why we in this fucking mess now. Telling the motherfucker what they can't do.
Sure.
And people are not robots. Like, I could see if you could put a program in a person and send them off along for their day and, enjoy their day or whatever. People aren't robots. So you can't, nobody, not even my parents can tell me what I can't do. Like.
So we have to figure out what works for us, and we got to upgrade this shit. And I'm saying whatever works for you, then cool. I'm just tired of us as in the Black community. I'm just tired of us dealing with the same old rigmarole of the discussions we're having, about people cheating and sneaking and geeking and all this other bullshit. Like, that shit's corny and that shit's old. Like, damn, let's just have a discussion now about why all this stuff goes on. And let's try to figure out a way where we can structure our lives where this is not even a fucking anomaly anymore. Like, that shit's, and that's old. You still doing that? Who does that anymore? That's what I'm saying. Like, we got to get past this.
Right.
And it has nothing to do with the sacredness of a relationship between a man and a woman. It has nothing to do with that. Because what you have sacred between you and another person, that is real within itself. Fuck what society or anybody thinks about that. That's some spiritual shit. That's above the pay grade of any government or whatever that got something to say about something. It don't even matter. And
do you think Dre and Pot, do you guys think that relationship, like the title relationship, people that are in relationships and they're just going to be with each other, and that whole invisible contract, do you think that those exist where nobody is stepping out?
Say that again now.
Yeah.
The whole relationship thing.
What about it?
Like, I'm only going to be with you, you only be with me, and blah, blah, blah. And they move forward to be in this relationship. Do you think that it still exists where nobody is, like, maybe the man or the woman is not stepping out? Like, where they're
monogamy?
Monogamy, I guess, if you want to say monogamy, yeah, I guess.
That's pretty much what you're explaining. You asked me, does that still exist?
Yeah.
Do you think?
So you asked me, do I think it still exists?
Yeah.
Yes, it does, but I think we're at a point in our evolution where that whole concept is fucking being tested, and it's shot to shit. This is one of the reasons why DCR is like, I don't even fuck with no relationship. He's
I
a
almost want to
testament.
say it doesn't exist because somebody I feel like would be like,
Um,
I
no,
find
you got
myself happier
no,
making my
no,
own decisions.
no. You got some
everything
people.
exists. Everything
No, you got
exists, I
some
guess.
people who they're following that program. They're they're suppressing all urges. You know, they're fighting all mental demons, and they're subscribing to that program. And there's nothing wrong with that, but it's a hard journey to fight when you live in a world where there's billions of people and infinite possibilities of experiences, and it's hard to just say I'm going to conform to just one track and just be on that track till I die. um that's being tested, and it's at a stage of evolution right now. Thus you
I
have all
guess it
this.
depends on the individuals.
It does boil
Yeah, it's
down
the
to the individual,
individuals.
but across the board, if you had to take if you came to the black community and you had you took a poll, you'll see that a lot of us are not, if they were going to be brutally honest and tell the fucking truth,
Right.
they're not upholding that traditional thing. They're not. And the question is why. Let's not even look at it as a bad thing. Let's look at it as a something we should learn from to see how we can better our situation, because our colonizers taught us to not even deal with our issues, to tuck it away, act like it doesn't exist. But yet you got a subculture where every fucking thing goes on, and you know, you don't want nobody to know that you be at the booty club, but you a pastor and shit like that. Like, pastor's a human being.
They're humans. They're
Yeah,
humans. Like,
he got shit that he has to deal with. They got
but what
labels.
happens? People. That's why with expectation, people put these false expectations on a person, saying this is a pastor, meaning once you have that title, you're no longer human. You are a pastor. So you fall short in any way, then it's like, oh my gosh, not realizing that he is a human being. They just have these false expectations, which lead
He
to
should be, yeah, but he should
disappointments.
be preaching, saying shit that he against, that he don't live.
That's society. So
Yeah,
I told you, our colonizers taught us to live one way, and the real aspect of us to tuck it away somewhere and act like it doesn't exist. That's a false reality.
yeah. I'm just saying, like a pastor, he teaches you to, he wants to teach you to be this and that, and he ain't even living it himself. So that makes it all bullshit and a waste of time. That's why
Maybe
people
he's a
don't.
pastor because he's trying to. They need
But
work
he's not
too.
saying that.
Well,
He's
They
speaking
ain't
all the
perfect.
knowledge and medication.
let's look at it like this.
I don't want to.
We don't even want to get into why a person's a pastor and what they're supposed to be doing, because that's not even my jurisdiction. I don't care about what they doing and what they should be doing. Like, once again, we're now getting back into that mode of, not allowing people to be people.
No,
My thing,
because if you got teachers, if you got people that's going to teach something and they're not living by what they teach, then they don't need to be a teacher because they are just selling you bullshit. So they're not worth it. That's
well,
just like a
my
person, huh?
well, in my opinion, pastors, I'm not going to deem them as teachers per se. I'm just going to deem them as preachers. There's a
Yeah,
difference between
the teachers that should rhyme.
and teaching.
Guess what, Pot?
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't agree with you. You know why? Look at all the shit they done taught us in school.
It don't matter because I don't listen to none of them anyway. I
And it's
think of
all a
all this
lie.
bullshit.
We're not
It's all
talking
a
about
lie.
you.
Right.
We're
You're
not.
right.
We're not talking about you, Pot. We're not talking about you
I don't
personally.
respect none of them, honestly.
We're making
To
a
that level.
we're making
No,
a
I'm
general
saying no.
statement.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're making a statement of enlightenment, not what you doing, nigga.
yeah. Look
No,
at
I'm
all the
saying I don't
stuff they
stand for it
taught
either.
us in school. history and all of this, and it's all bullshit, all lies.
Yeah,
all lies.
that's why I don't think about none of that stuff. I don't live by any of that shit. Because,
So
like I said, if you ain't gonna be that, then
So
why?
society
Okay,
can fuck off if
yes,
you want my opinion. Society can really
so yeah, I'm
fuck
not
off.
gonna get into what like I said, preachers and teachers. It's two separate things, and one
no,
is
no, they're saying the same.
no, one is teaching a
Preacher,
philosophy.
teacher.
No, there's a difference. There's a difference. If let me say this and listen to me carefully because I don't say this often. It's gonna sound weird, but
Uh-oh.
listen, please.
Oh boy.
Don't ever come to me for truth.
My bad.
Don't come to me for truth. I'm not here to give you truth because truth is relative. I'm here to give you information. You're supposed to take that information and you're supposed to validate it to yourself and for yourself as a truth to you. Anybody showing up saying, I got the truth, run.
Run like hell.
So
True.
when it comes down to pastors and preachers and people saying they got the way and all this other stuff, I don't get involved with that. What I'm saying is we live in a realm where there's infinite information from all aspects of creation, whether you're staring at a cat, picking blueberries, scratching your ass, there's information that can be derived from that. Learn from it, study it, meditate on it.
I got
But
the
you
truth.
have to come to a level of truth for yourself. It's just information. I'm not here to tell you what's truthful and not. The only thing that I can give you that's a level of truth are universal laws that govern this dimension that allows us to be here. Other than that, I don't get into no truth, no nothing. Follow me. I am the way. Hell no. I don't even want nobody following me about no.
You ain't the way, Dre.
Hell no.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding.
No.
I'm just kidding, y'all.
I'm a messenger. So I have information and I share the information. I may have a profile way of administering that information, but don't come to me for truth. Come to me for information. And you got to study and take that information and say, hey, you know what? That information I got from old boy, that shit panned out to be true to me.
Discern it for yourself, yeah.
That's it. So pastors and preachers and following motherfuckers, I'm not really, that's not my thing.
That's just like,
and I'm not saying anything is wrong with that. I'm not saying anything is wrong with that because there's people who came here to do that, to follow a motherfucker, and that's fine. That I didn't come here to do that. We didn't come here to do that, right?
Right.
Us three, we didn't come here to be following a motherfucker.
I didn't come here to follow anybody.
So you should get what I'm saying, that information / knowledge is the key, but that information still has to be processed and filtered through you to resonate with your being, to be a truth. That's it.
Going back to that whole, what do y'all call it? The jabby wabby thing.
Yeah.
The whole reason, like it make sense to me, and maybe you were talking about something. So yeah, when it comes to those type of things, truth and all of that, then yeah. And that for me, that was a matter of me just processing for myself, like, okay, if you actually listen and pay attention to what they're telling, it didn't glue, it didn't mesh.
That's on the surface. So imagine if you took the information that they gave you, that they gave to you in the format of truth.
Right.
And for some people, the motherfucker, Dr. Fugazi said, blah, blah, blah. That shit is the truth. It's fact. And people ran with that. But on the surface, what you just did, that's surface. Then you had people who took the information and they went out and they did their due diligence. And they came back and was like, no.
No. Mm-hmm.
But it just doesn't make sense anyway from the beginning. Man ain't that smart. So that's why I always look at it that way. Man just ain't that smart to me. Man ain't, you're not a savior. no matter how I look at it, I want to depend on your explanation for something or this and that. I will have to figure it out on my own how it's coming at me. I do not trust anyone with my life. So therefore, it doesn't make sense for me I don't need to research and none of that shit. It just don't make natural sense. Period.
It's during that time when I realized that people don't have a lot of people don't have, like, there was for years you would hear, oh, common sense ain't common. A lot of people, like, I literally learned in that time frame that a lot of people do not have
common sense.
Like, just
they don't even understand
regular,
that.
basic common sense. Just the whole idea of what the gloves and everything. Not to turn it into that topic because we're on something else, but yeah.
But it's really ego though. It all falls down to ego. People, to me, if people are really kind of that messed up in it, I can't understand that. I'm giving them an excuse by saying their ego is just greater than who in front of them. You know what I mean? Like, they don't want to go wrong with something that they believed in at one point. Something that they was groomed to, under that, to adopt. They feel like they're threatened if somebody, or if there's another way, they just feel threatened by it. And all they know is that one way. So their ego steps in the front and is going to protect it by all means. Even if they know
the same
that's wrong. Even if they know this shit.
I had already said that though. The ego is gonna do what it needs to do to survive. So I mean,
so it's more egotistical.
I'm not against them. I understand their plight. I understand why they, and it's in layers. I was just telling somebody this. It comes in waves. Like, the first test was the first test. Some of us made it through that. Some of us had enough discernment and enlightenment and just being in tune with self to get past that first wave. A lot of us didn't. They fell victim to the program because they were sheep. I'm just going to keep it that way.
Well, they took money first. They put money first, though. That's what it was.
I'm not talking about the facilities. I'm not talking about the victims. I'm not talking about.
Yeah, no, I'm saying that the victims they put, because a lot of them had to be victims in order to.
Oh yeah. You're right. Because they made a decision, but they were putting in a money decision, man. Because when you're talking about a person's livelihood, that's a tough spot to be in. When you got a family and kids and a mortgage and all this stuff, that's a tough spot.
It is tough. It is. I wouldn't
want to be in that situation.
I would still at one point.
But the next phase is going to be even tougher. So the motherfuckers who didn't get swept up in the first one, wait till the next shit come down the pipe.
It's called the ZR.
They said you have to. You got the first one. Now you have to get this one.
What you say?
I'll say it off camera.
Oh, okay.
Oh, they said you have to. I'm saying commercials talking about. They said you have to get this next if you got the first one.
You don't have to. It boils down.
I'm not saying.
You started this whole thing with why do people cheat, and it boils down to free will. At the end of the day, everybody got free will, regardless of what is held over your head. Even down to death. Motherfuckers are in situations where they got to make a life or death situation. That's free fucking will. You got to pick and choose. So at the end of the day, you got to make a choice. No matter what the circumstance of the situations are, you're going to have to choose. And when it comes down to why people cheat, it's going to come down to a choice. And people need to understand that it's not one thing that's causing this. It's just a multitude of shit. And I did not mention people of color. We are damaged goods. We got fucking issues coming from post-slavery. So we working out a whole bunch of shit through our DNA and our bloodlines and our generations. We still trying to figure shit out. So we got somebody telling us how to relate and how to relate when it comes down to a man and a woman. Then we got this shit that we working out genetically from just dealing with post-slavery. So we got a lot on our fucking plate.
We're getting better though.
Oh, we win in the end.
Yeah, we win in the end, but you could see it. Like,
it's getting
better.
It's a big load to carry. And we just got to start having the discussions now. And we are having the discussions now because we're in a new age, a new cycle. So no matter where you turn, it's going to be in your face now. It's in our face now. Every fucking aspect of a relationship, whether it be a man on a man, man and woman, woman with two men, nigga with 5 wives, whatever the hell, it's in our face. We got to have the discussion now. Not about good and bad, but how do we interface with this and move forward based on what makes us happy, not what somebody thinks should makes us happy. If DCR says he wants to be a loner and just taste the dessert as he travels, then that's what makes him happy. There's nothing wrong with that. Let's make that a norm where people don't, when we have these discussions, people are not looking at you weird, like, you want to what?
Who cares? Who can't, like, yeah, let's have the discussions where.
Let me clear this up. Who cares only pertains to us personally. We're talking about moving a culture forward.
Okay.
So we got to get out of our own bag.
Yeah.
And say, hey, when our kids get, what kind of format or blueprint we got for our children so they can be free thinkers.
Right.
All the way down to their lives and their mates. This is what I'm talking about. Not us, sitting in our room somewhere on a camera saying, fuck the world. I can eat a turd sandwich. Who cares?
Right.
No, that's not what I'm saying. We have a responsibility to start in our own circles because we got families and children that we got to lay down a format for that they're going to have to carry on once we're gone. So we got to have the discussion about other than us. Because it ain't about us. You dig?
It's really not about us.
I hope I made sense with that.
Yeah, you did.
You about to go into your Joanne thing of me. I don't give a fuck. That's not what I'm saying.
Yeah.
We got a job to do because I know you care about the people that are in your circle, and they're gonna grow up. They're gonna have children, and I don't want them to have the same fucking problems we got. That's all I'm saying. We three have the power to change that in our circle.
Yeah.
We ain't worried about the world, but our circle. Now, our circle may influence the next motherfucker and the next motherfucker and the next motherfucker, right. And it becomes a thing. And now you're like, damn, them 3 people who had that discussion and sparked the brain of somebody, that shit was a virus and it just went out. And now we changed the whole paradigm. But we ain't the only people having this discussion. You know that, right?
No, we're not. We're not.
No,
we're not.
We're just playing our part. Yeah.
That you sound like I'm Starship Troopers.
Starship Troopers. But on that note,
I think we're like the Geek Squad or something.
on that note, I'm closing remarks. I'm just gonna say, like, we gotta get a new format for why we do what we do and get out of the dark. We're in the dark with a lot of shit that goes on in our community, as far as cheating and it's in the music, it's in every fucking thing. So
it's in everything.
Let's pull the covers off of it and scoot that shit to the front, man, so we all can see it and have dialogue about it. And I'm gonna tell you, a lot of women as well as men, they don't want to hear the brutal, honest truth about why people do what they do. They'll be shocked if a person can be really honest. Sometimes it may be about your mate, some shit they ain't doing, or it just have nothing to do with you at all.
Sometimes that's excuses, though, when they try to blame the mate for their fucking shit that they want to do. They need an excuse to do what they got to do. That's just basically excuses.
But that still boils down to them wanting to do what they want to do.
I'm saying, like, if you try to cover up for you, just say you want to do what you want to do. Don't try to find any little thing why you did it to be forgived, and like you looking for forgive or this and that because you finding
isn't that the basis of this show?
Yeah,
that's the basis of this show. Let's not even make excuses for shit anymore. If and I know there should be no kids watching this, but we have to come full circle in our personal truth about how we like life. Stop hiding who you are. If you require head every morning before you go to work, then your mate should know that. That's not something you should keep to yourself and just hope you get it
You
and
ain't never.
wish you get it, or go watch it on a screen and live vicariously through what you're seeing. No.
And
Make
if
this a reality, and your mate shouldn't make you feel weird about that. But nobody
I
wants
was
to have
about
those
to say,
discussions.
I was just about to say that. And it shouldn't be like a chore or you feeling like, like,
Yeah, yeah.
or your mate feeling like fucked up, like, damn, I hate to ask her for whatever have you, or vice versa. Like, yeah, it is what it is.
And this is
And
why
if
we
you
have
don't like
these
it, get a
hiccups.
new mate. Get a new
And
mate.
that's like right. Like we have to start constructing relationships on what makes us happy on both parts, both sides. It's all about compatibility, not the perfect person and all this shit. That shit is bullshit. It's about compatibility. What's compatible with you? So, but yeah, good show, good topic. And we have to have these discussions. And if you listen to the show, listen to the playback, whatever, have those discussions in your circles. Bring it up. Like, don't be afraid. And I know people don't want to talk about, especially with their mate. Men or women, they'd be walking around thinking shit and they'd be scared to have those talks with their mate because they'd be in the fucking doghouse. Problem number one.
Oh
Problem
yeah, that's true.
number fucking
That's
one.
true. Yeah, that's true.
You can't live in an alternate world in your head while you're with someone because you're afraid of what they might say or do. That's a self-imposed prison. That's why we have in this show. You have to be free. Free yourself. And you can do that with someone. You both can be free and be together. It's a beautiful thing. But on that note, y'all got anything else y'all want to say? I think we got a comment here. Let me see. Queen Medina says, peace.
Peace.
What's up, star?
Hey.
But yeah, please, yeah, man, we gotta do better. We gotta do better. And and with this, I want to make it seem like we want to mess up the sacredness of a man and a woman's union. That's we don't want to mess that up. But there's another way that we have to come up with to move forward, where we can cut out all the subculture bullshit that's going on. That we're hiding. Nobody wants to talk about. Girl, I heard. Yo, son. Yo, old girl. No. We just gotta get the shit to the front and deal with it and move forward. And that's gonna take people's egos being crushed and uncomfortable conversations. And the reality is, we just need to spark the brain and have the blueprint put down. We'll die off with all our bullshit, and this will go forward, and we'll see it be given birth to by our heirs. That's how this shit works. So, y'all got any last remarks?
I think the show is pretty good. You know my thing. Be honest. Don't sugarcoat anything. And it is what it is. Give people the right to choose what they want, Don't be selfish because you want a certain thing, because that's how you create these false realities, and you're thinking this way, that person's thinking that way, and then things end and you want to kill each other.
Over free will. At the
Over
end of the
free
day.
will, right.
Over free
right.
will. Some shit that was given to you by, divine forces. Free will, and you want to get mad because I utilize it. No, nigga, you a slave. You didn't know you was a slave in this relationship. Better shut up and go sit down. You don't get free thought here. I tell you what to think. Hell no. That shit's goofy. But I'm
That's
just saying.
I never, even when I was young, I never believed in and I never believed in marriage because I just could never see myself promising somebody, you know, the things that come with marriage like that. I just couldn't see myself looking at this person for the rest of my life and not looking at nobody else. That just made me felt. I just used to feel sad about it. It made me like feel depressed just thinking about stuff like marriage and commitment like that. That's all depression with roses around it, with red roses. Depression. It's like you can't, you know what I mean? Like you really can't see the truth. It's like once you
Are
really
the
start
roses red or black?
I think the black is actually more and more as forbidden. I think the black one is the one where you would probably want to be honest with you. I think the red roses is like in more of an illusion of, you know. So all I'm saying is like things are presented here as great and, you know, perfect, but when you really look into the essence of it, it's dark and it's a imprisonment to yourself when you start thinking about it. Like, you know what I mean? Like jumping into a basement and locking the door, like, and just staying there for the marrying in that basement. Like you just locked there forever in the darkness and thinking once you there, you realize you in a, you know, just in a basement. It's dark and
you know where all that you know where all that comes from? All that comes from infringing on a person's free will.
Right.
Everything you're saying is describing a person who has their free will infringed upon, so they can't be themselves and be free. If you can be free in a relationship, it's the best thing.
It's different. It would be different. It would be a lot different.
So, you know, this is not a anti-marriage campaign, but you have people who don't fit into that mold because it infringes on their ability just to be themselves.
Yep.
And that's a real thing. That's a real thing. That's nothing to you know, and that goes back to to society saying you have to do X, Y, and Z. And that's why people say marriage ain't for everybody, because a lot of people don't like their free will infringed upon because of what that institution says you have to do. And anything other than that is wrong or bad. So it breeds that. But then you have some marriages where people, they are free and they do live their truth, and it's structured on based on.
I think they get to know each other so much they just become good friends and they just start seeing who they want to see. Really, they just keep the structure together. Like, you know,
at some point,
I think that's ideal for me. Like to be with somebody that's like my best friend. Like just, and it is what it is. Like
y'all stop having sex most likely, and y'all just start. Y'all still together. Y'all still do business. If y'all had a business built together, y'all business partners, and y'all just don't do that. You know, that little shit no more together.
It doesn't have to be marriage. Like it
could be.
Could be what?
Marriage is just like a business anyway. Like when you're making a, you know, make your wise decisions when you like interact, when you're making a deal with somebody. That's all marriage is, another contract with everything else. It's like, you know, you got to support the other business and all that. You got to, you know, you got to live up to these terms and all that shit. And that's basically
marriage is a good institution, but it is not an institution to define your love with devotion to a person.
Yeah, that's what I say. Love and devotion. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's a different thing.
That's an illusion. That's not no.
But think about it, Dre. Marriage is just it's part of it's a corporation. And, you know what I mean? Everything here is corporation deal. Everything here is a contract, a deal. Everything in America is just presented as a contract. They just use different words and everything to make it seem like it's something else. But it's all contracted. It's like this whole thing is based on business. Marriage.
Yeah. What is actually like honestly? What is good about marriage? Like what is?
It's a business deal. It's supposed to be.
It's a good institution. Deal. Like it's like what is good about?
Okay,
marriage?
I'm gonna give this like 10 more minutes. And we're gonna wrap this up.
I know what.
What's good about it? The institution of marriage? Oh, do you know?
I already know. Like
what
when it comes to like long term, like if you have assets and things like that, and you know,
business
life insurances
that could be, but you can You don't have to be married to leave assets to people.
No, you
No.
don't have to be married for that.
Yeah.
But it's got to be a good business partner. That's like, you ain't gonna write. You're not gonna contract somebody that ain't gonna show up on time and this and that and all that stuff, because then you're gonna fall apart too.
She's asking what's good about the institutional marriage.
Yeah.
Like what's the? I mean, I
Business.
don't mean to say what's the purpose, but like
good business, Joanne. That's it. You marry somebody. You make a good business.
Let me add a little bit more, because Podcast is going to keep it real crunchy and shit, just business.
Right.
And it's much more than that. In a nutshell, he's right. In a nutshell, because it requires business to get in it, and it requires business to get out of the shit.
Right.
At the end of the day, but one aspect of it is that it's a situation that some people view it like this: if you're willing to take this leap with me, and I know it's a conforming leap, and I know it's a leap that's going to be binding. I know that both parties know that, and they're both hesitant on actually making the leap because of those reasons. But if you're willing to take this leap with me, that is showing a level of devotion to me that we're going to hold hands and we're going to take this jump together. And it's scary. And some people view that as a level of devotion. And I get it.
But can't you do that without marriage?
Yes, you can.
No, you can't. You know why you can't? You know why you can't?
Because you're not obligated.
Because listen real closely.
The contract is
real closely. Both parties know they're getting into some shit and they're hesitant. Yeah. And they're deciding to take that leap together.
Okay, I guess.
So when you look at it, you have.
I think we take the leap together once we say, okay, we're gonna be in a relationship.
Hell,
or we're gonna be together.
That's free will.
In a perfect world. But but that goes back to what I'm saying. If it was that easy, then we wouldn't have too many issues that we're having now. See, marriage, niggas in the back of everybody's head, besides the chick who wants to get dressed up and they're caught up in the moment of the cake and the big wedding and all of that.
Oh, like, my husband.
Yeah,
my husband.
They're in it
my
for
possession.
A level of, I'm not going to say everybody, but you got some women who sign up for the wrong reasons. They want to have the big party, but they're not really into that. They're not looking at the leap that they're taking. They're looking at the party and the process that they're about to go down because they're going to be celebrated. But two individuals who are smart and intelligent, they're going to be thinking about, it's almost like, if I
was to get married,
it's like buying buying a house. It's like buying a house. When you're gonna buy something, make a really big purchase,
business deal,
and you're doing it with somebody, like a business partner or somebody. When you're doing that with somebody, y'all both standing there, even though everything looks good. In the back of your fucking head, you're like, "Yo, what if? I don't know. This is scary, but you know what? Let's do it." But you got reservations, but you know, it's a little uneasy. Marriage is the same way. So it's like jumping in a hole together. You know it's some shit down there. Both of y'all. But you know what? If you're willing to jump in this bitch with me, and that in itself sends a level of commitment to those two people to say, hey, let's do this. And that's what I'm saying. Just being together, it's easy to walk away from that shit. You know that, I guess.
It's a good business deal, like I said, man. You find somebody I
still have a question.
Go ahead.
I still have questions.
Go ahead.
What makes it like a good institution?
Oh, the good.
You can build off. Put it this way.
There's plenty of people that jump in the ditch in the mud together, and then next thing you know, they on divorce court and
they have no business. They have nothing. They have nothing behind them. But
wait. One person at a time. Go ahead.
There's many people that did like. What makes it a good institution? Yes, I get it. the whole idea of like, okay, but I kind of feel like if you in stick, I just kind of, I feel a little different when it comes to that. But like, what makes it so fantastic? Because I feel like if I'm giving you my time or I'm giving you me, then yeah, that's me in it
that's
with
love.
you. Period.
That,
Like,
that's love. That's on an emotional level.
if you're getting a part of me or all of me, like I'm in it with you. So like,
it's different when you're binded by contract. You want to be
contract.
Contract. It's
do you want to be
going back to what your pot said?
Do you want to be? Do you want to be binded by a contract?
No, I don't.
You don't, right? There's some people who
would be like
contract.
Like I'm here, like you know.
See, the thing is, I always felt when you know how rich parties get married. You get two parties.
Are we doing this or are we doing this? Like
that's the contract. But you do know a person can just walk away.
Of course, a person can walk away from a marriage.
Away from a marriage, but they can't dissolve the contract so easily. So there's it's a little.
The only difference is it costs more money and it's more of a business, like Pot was saying, to dissolve that contract.
That's
that was
one
made.
part. That's one part.
But what I'm saying is,
no. Here's the part you're missing. If a person don't want to divorce you, then you can't get divorced. Your ass is stuck.
Oh yeah, that's true.
So no.
So what makes that a good union?
What makes it a good union?
What makes it a good institution?
I don't believe it is myself.
So you need to tell me.
I can't give you
this contract with you.
It's a relative thing.
Together, and then you know what I say, or you say, all right, you know what, it's time, and I got to get out of this, and I'm like, no, nigga, this for life. Like you.
I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell you what makes it a good institution. There's only one way it makes a good how it makes a good institution. Only one initiative in this. Money. The other person, the two people, better off not really loving each other, but good on business making. Two good business people that get together can build an empire. That's what I'm trying to say. Like that's
true.
So all that love, you got to get that out of there.
And to add on what he's saying, to add on what he's saying, there's certain levels in the business that you can't go past unless you're married. There's certain levels in the game that you can't go past unless you have a mate, a wife or a husband.
But it's kind of fucked up because like I wouldn't want to be in something because it's like a business deal. Like what happened to like?
Because y'all don't have to actually date. Y'all don't have to be together. Y'all just doing it for business.
Why not? Like why?
You don't have to. I'm just saying, but that's what makes sense.
And we
what I'm saying. See, you got the
one at a time.
I don't care what you decide to, whether it's a monogamy or open or whatever have you. Why do I choose you? And it's just a business.
Because y'all both business. No, y'all both got to be business.
That means when it comes time for sex and all of that stuff, it's gonna be like.
No. What Jay is doing, she's trying to minimize the marriage thing down to, it's just if you're emotionally, if you're in love with someone, right?
It's not a good reason though.
Marriage is just another step in that. You're still gonna be in love. You're still gonna be doing all the stuff you would do if you weren't married. So marriage is just another step in that. So don't look at, if we say business, don't look at, okay, sex is just going to be a business thing. No, you don't separate how you feel about the person because it's a business. You're in love with your business partner.
Oh, that's a different thing that you're saying.
But
here's the thing too. You don't even have to be in love.
No, don't. Most people that get married, if they're like building empires and stuff, yeah, you have some people that are married and it's not like a marriage.
Right. Business. They made a business deal.
It's business. It's not a marriage. It's business.
It lasts long.
Made me say that, like.
Well, the business might last longer than the marriage.
It lasts longer than I love
of course,
you.
the business would last longer than the marriage. But what the hell? You getting something? It's I understand like money and and building empires and all of that stuff. What about the other stuff?
What the other stuff is gonna be? It's supposed to be there. What do you mean?
Yeah. Y'all got to work on that, but everything else got to be to me on.
We're not talking about two people who are gonna come together and say we're gonna get married. We don't like each other. We're not in love. We're just gonna get married for the business deal, and then we can grow to love each other. People don't get married like that. People get married because they're in love, but it's still a business deal at the end of the day.
Okay, that's something
different. Man, because some rich people in different countries.
You know that.
That's something different. I honestly, the way I got it, like when Pot said about like Pot. two different people building an empire, and I'm like, well, what the fuck? What about love and all of that?
He was just saying that's what it is. The institution of it. That's what it is.
But what I'm trying to say is, even people from third world countries, people get married. They marry their daughters to wealthy men because it's a business deal. They're not in love. Those are structured. That's what I'm saying. It's still corporate business. Marriage is to me an extension of business. It's not a romantic thing. It can happen. That's what people believe that marriage is. But
you know what this conversation just showed me?
It's a corporate deal.
This conversation just showed me that I need to buy more land and get my assets a little more than what I started, because it looks like I'll never be married. I'm probably never gonna get married, and I need to build my own fucking empire.
You will be.
I need to add on to what I already have.
She'll be married. You don't believe that shit, Pot?
No.
Well, you know what? If as long as you stay in the middle of it, as long as you stay in the middle.
I like to be in the middle.
Yeah, she'll be married.
As long as you stay in the middle of the parties, you should be fine. You know what I mean?
Ray, you're so sure. I'm telling you, I'm not. We'll discuss this 10 years from now, 20 years from now, and I'll be like, guess what? I got more properties, but I'm not.
The only reason you're saying that because you're trying to take it and make it you're only looking at it from one lens.
I'm not looking at it from one lens. I've felt this way already, but this conversation, I've already felt this way, but this conversation did not help the situation. It did not help my view and my opinion.
You'll be surprised how the universe rearranges things. You'll be surprised.
Marriage.
Yes.
I just know you want to make a good deal.
When you do get married, you're gonna go into it from a business perspective. Watch. Just by your mindset alone and how you are, you're gonna go in it so rational and not goofy.
If I was to get married tomorrow, I would be rational because I have things that I need to make sure that are secure. And you might need a prenup and all. I have to make sure that that's
fine. All of that's perfectly fine. But what I'm saying is, you can be with someone, be in love with them, love them to death. Right. And if that marriage came along, that's not going to change how you feel about this person. That's going to be your boo-boo, whatever. Y'all going to be.
But if marriage
Ace
didn't come along.
No, wait. Ace Boo Coon, this is your guy, no matter what, right? If marriage came along for whatever reason, you'll just go into it very logically. That has nothing to do with how you feel about this person. It ain't going to change nothing. You'll just be going into it, making sure it's nice and structured for whatever reason. And like I said, people get married, and there's a multitudes of reasons why it would benefit you down the road from a corporate standpoint. Far as your mate and who you're marrying, you're gonna love them to death. It has nothing to do with anything.
I would love them regardless.
Okay, so you being anti-marriage it has nothing to do with it.
I'm not anti-marriage. I just don't think that it works. I just don't think that it will work for me. I'm not anti-marriage.
It doesn't have to work for you. It's nothing that's supposed to work for you.
I don't think it's for me.
Why?
Like me being under a contract of this,
this whole
what business?
Yeah.
First, you got to outline, and knowing you have to outline why it makes sense to do X, Y, and Z for you. For you. And once you outline that, you will go into it. You're going to be you're like a business, but you're the person who's going to make sure it's structured like a business.
Oh, I am.
You're that
I'm
person.
going in with stuff.
Exactly.
I'm going in with stuff. Like,
and they're going to come in with stuff. They should. So my thing is
they better because the broke one is the one that run away with everything.
You are the testament. You are the testament to what Pot is explaining about the business. You're questioning the reason why you should do it. And there's multitudes of reasons that you can't see now, but later on, it'll all make sense when you start to count down and prepare. It'll all make sense. But you're not the person to go get married for love. I get it. Right? Correct me if I'm wrong.
I'm not going to get married for.
You're not the person that will go get married because you're in love. If you did it, it will be for business.
In love with you, and we don't need to get
exactly.
married.
So if you got married, it'll be for business purposes that you can't see right now, but it'll be for business. Trust and believe. You looking around like.
I'm trying to make it make sense, and I
you can't take somebody that
a light bulb.
Eventually,
I think a light bulb might have.
You are the person that he described. You are the person that he described. You're that person. You're not the person who's getting married because you're in love, because you don't need marriage to prove your love, right? Right. So you wouldn't get married for love. You would get married for business reasons. You're the person he just explained, but you're fighting it because you don't know, or you're fighting the why I would go into it for business. But you can't see that yet because it hasn't manifested itself yet. It has nothing to do with love and being with the person with you. And I get it, because marriage does not define your devotion to a person.
No.
Some people believe that. Some people believe that. Some people believe that.
And they end up, you know what they end up? They end up having nothing, and the person take everything away from their ass.
On divorce court is where they end up.
So, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the institution. The question is a person's motives. Why are you doing it?
Yep.
And at the end of the day,
for business reasons.
At the end of the day, it's
some people get married to collect money after the divorce.
It's going to be like a mortgage. And when y'all sign on the dotted line, both of your asses going to be responsible for whatever goes down in that union. And it's a fucking business. It's a corporate contract. But like I said, there's a lot of things that comes along with that. You ain't got there yet, but there's a lot of things that comes along with that are beneficial, but you're not on that trajectory yet. So you trying to figure it out is like,
I'm trying to
understand
it, because I'm saying to myself, like,
you're not there.
I need a business. I don't need to. I'm not going to be married for business, because I need to step my game up and get some more things so that when I go, my kids will be okay and all of that stuff. And then the rest it is what it is.
Okay. But you're thinking from a perspective of just you.
But I could live my life with my boo and just like, we just.
Well, yeah, but what if your boo? Yeah, but what if your boo made a business deal where he can just get rid of you and take all your damn money? Maybe he with you for that. That's why you got to go in smart. You got to make sure the other side is just as.
That's why marriage. That's what I would be afraid of. Like,
that's why you marry somebody with the same status.
You have to put things in line and structure them before, however.
That's why you marry somebody.
There's nothing wrong. There's nothing wrong with
some blurred lines and some, fine print and all of that.
You can go through that with a fine tooth comb. Here's the thing: if you met a guy, this is your guy, and he's wealthy, and he wants to marry you, I can almost guarantee you she's gonna marry him.
Right?
She's gonna marry him
because he's wealthy.
No.
I was gonna say, Dre, you don't know me too well. I don't give a fuck about your money.
That's your guy. He wants to marry you. You're not going to tell them no. But here's the thing. All the things that are in your head, all the reservations about this, that, and the third, and your coins and blah, 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 blah. He got bread. So all of that, you ain't even got to tinker around with that no more.
My assets are just kind of like blah.
A bag of chips.
Comparison.
Yeah, it's a bag of chips.
A bag of chips.
Not even nothing we need to talk about. So now what? It's all about me and you. What you gonna do? So come on. Something that can trump your ideology of your assets and my things I need to get. Somebody comes in, that shit's covered. What? Huh? What? It's nothing. It's about me. What about us? Fuck all that. You good? Meaning whatever. Now what? I want you to have my last name. I'm just saying. Look at your face.
Because I didn't think of it that way.
Because you're thinking about this thing from, not to say you're poor, but a poor man's perspective on what you need to guard.
Well, it's not even, is it guarding it when I think about, like, I actually think about my children. Like,
your children will be straight, especially if you got more to leave them. That's
what I'm saying. Oh, yeah.
I see how you pipe now. Oh, yeah, you right.
Okay.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
It's all a business deal. It's all either y'all both big and y'all can combine to make even empire, or one dummy goes in. I mean, one dummy got everything and the other one don't got nothing, and then the other person take half of it and run somewhere else.
And that's so what a lot of women do that. They leave with half the shit.
Yeah, so you want to make sure your business partner is as equal as you. Period.
Or if not more.
Yeah, or if not more.
From a business perspective, when you're talking about that, like, it's, you know. But anyway, we done went way over.
You don't want to need each other in that, you know.
Diverted.
You don't mix poor and rich together. It just doesn't mix.
But anyway, everybody got an opinion. It's like assholes. But anyway, we're gonna go on and get up out of here. We done went way over. We had 2 hours and 17 minutes. Long-winded here. I hope y'all got something from our shucking and jiving. But no, on a serious tip, marriage is a cool institution for those that it works for. But in my opinion, marriage is not an institution to define a person's love for you. That's goofy. You know, if a person is into you and devoted to you, then that's who they are, no matter what. And if you decide to get married and you're in love, then that's an extra thing. But if you're using that thing as a line of demarcation to define if a person really wants to be with you, that's goofy. But anyhow, we got some work to do as a people. We got to reinvent a lot of shit and get a blueprint together for our children going forward, so they don't have to deal with this madness, and they could be a lot freer in their thinking. And if they're freer in their thoughts, it trickles down to their life, and they're freer in their lives. So on that note, I am Brother More Dizzle, better known as More Deeb. And this is the POD podcast. And we want to say thanks for tuning in. Please like, subscribe, and share with someone. And we're going to get out of here. Peace.